So in life, we all only know our own personal experience. So I was thinking about how I like healed my mental health issues, and saying that is almost controversial in the world today. Or I was thinking about how I deserve my happiness. Like the peace and the happiness that I have today. I'm like I deserve that. The body that I have today, I'm like I deserve that because I worked for it, right? Like, I worked very hard to get in shape. I worked very hard to heal my mental health. And it's that thing that I only know my own personal experience. So I know what has worked for me. I do not know if any of this knowledge will apply to you, but I just know this is what I think and what I believe about myself and my own mind and my own health. That it's like, I now deserve to be happy because I worked for my happiness, just like I deserve to be in shape because I worked to get in shape. Something I've noticed is that health is looked at in a different way. Like, it should be we are physically gonna get in shape mentally and physically and spiritually and emotionally. Like, it's all about being in shape because now when I deal with like a negative feeling or a negative problem, I don't look at it like it's negative. I just now know how to move through my emotions. Like emotions are like a language and we don't know how to speak that language, so we don't understand. Now that's the key for me, is I've begin to understand myself. Like, because this is why what works for me might not work for you, because just because we have the same feeling doesn't mean the same thing caused us to have that feeling. So, when I would look at myself and I'm like this thug type dude or whatever, of course I'm anxious. I have no clue who I am. I think I have to be this because I'm black or like whatever. So as I started looking at myself, like actually looking in the mirror, I started beginning to heal. Like that was the steps of me healing my mental health, but it's not really healing. It was just me getting in shape. Like imagine the first time I said to myself, I want to stop saying the N word. So when I finally stopped saying the N word, that was like a mental workout accomplishment where it's like I worked out my mind enough, trained my mind enough to remove a word out of my mental vocabulary. So once I've seen that I can remove saying the N word out loud and in my head, I'm like, wow, I can rebuild my mind. Like that, it just clicked. I can rebuild my mind. So therefore, I started looking at health, like mental health, the same way I look at physical health, where it's like something, if you work on it, you can begin to strengthen it, strengthen the mind to the point where now it's like you have certain mechanisms or certain things that help you move through the emotions. So like when something negative happens, you have an idea of what to do to get through it. Just like if you get out of shape, like if you get overweight, you have an idea in your mind on how to fix that problem. We don't have many ideas on how to fix our mental problems, but we really do. The problem is, this is why I'm mainly saying this applies to me. This is my life, my experience. But for me personally, I used to, like, I feel like I didn't deserve to be happy. That's why I wasn't happy. Just like the guy that doesn't work out, I don't care, you might look at the guy that's in shape and almost be like, oh, he's in shape, or you might look at the rich guy and be like, oh, he's fucking rich, and we're not rich. But like, he deserves to be rich because he took his energy and focus and then made money. He deserves to be rich. I deserve to be in shape. Six I took 6 years, and the last two of those years I actually took extremely serious. That's why I'm in shape. Like, it's 6 years of working on something, and of course you're gonna get in shape. Like, I didn't look at it like I was gonna fix my mental health, but when I started my shamanic journey about 10 years ago, and I started using these like plants and psychedelics and started meditation, and I started like all this journey, of course, if I continue that for years and years and years, then of course I'll have results mentally. And like, there's a I guess the thing is self-discipline, because all of this shit requires discipline. Working out, um, from getting in shape mentally and physically, spiritually, emotionally, they all require discipline. And discipline is not easy. So discipline is almost the first thing you need to work on. Or it's like, or I guess self-awareness is the first thing you need to work on, because if you're not self-aware, you really don't know what you need to work on. So then you might see that that person's rich, or that person's in shape, or that person has a good relationship, or like, you'll see people that have things you want, but you're not going to want to do the work that requires them to have what they have. Like, it takes work. The problem with our society today is we don't know how to tough love. Like, the world is, when people say, we gotta think about people's feelings and think about whatever. So then it's like, in the world today, you can't tell people that like have problems that, hey, if you work on those problems, or like if you tell someone, you need to strengthen your mind, they're gonna be like, well, I have depression, and you got, like, they'll give this thing, and then you almost feel bad for telling them, bro, you need to strengthen your mind up and start working. Like, you almost feel bad, but that's the problem. Is we see, I do care about people's feelings, but I care about their feelings 10 years from now more than I care about their feelings now. Like, I'd rather hurt your feelings with the truth than have you worse 10 years from now. Like, because the truth is, at least this is the truth for me, is happiness is something that you have to work for. Peace is something that you like. Healing your mental health, getting in shape, getting down to even getting rich, or getting a great relationship, or you don't just get a great relationship, you have to work on the relationship for it to stay great. Like, you can't just get the person, that you love, or your dream girl, and do nothing after you get her. Like, no, you have to continuously do the thing. That's one of the biggest issues in relationships. That you'll put so much effort into getting the girl, into getting the guy, but when you get the girl, you stop doing the effort because you're like, oh, I got the girl. That's like me working out, getting in shape, and then being like, okay, I'm going to stop working out because now I'm in shape. Because all of these things require constant work. It's like, our emotions require constant work because you're going to go through negative emotions. But if you realize that no emotion is negative, it's just reactions to the environment, to life, to what you're thinking, to what you're doing. And as I look back, like, it almost, like, before I made this video, I was thinking about not making this video because I almost feel bad. Because, like, when I first healed my mental health, I didn't think about it, so I'm just like, yeah, I healed my mental health. But I felt bad because people's reactions were like almost envious, or like, I don't know, like, it's this thing where I could just see I didn't get the reactions I thought I would. Like, because it's not me telling others that they don't deserve happiness. This is just the conclusion that I came up with about myself. That I'm happy now because I'm proud of myself and I deserved, like, whatever. But if I just stay stuck right now, if I stop progressing, 10 years from now, if I'm the same me, like, no progress, no nothing, then I probably won't be happy 10 years from now. That's what I mean. That this is something, life is a process. Life requires progress for these things to stick. So, like, you can do meditation, I don't know, for 2 years. Let's say it transformed your life. If you stopped meditating for 5 years after that, you'd lose the benefits of the meditation. The same thing with working out. You would lose the benefits from working out. So the things that I had to do to heal my mental health, these are things I had to apply to myself, to my life, like just to the way I live life in general. So like, I look back and I'm like, no, I didn't deserve happiness when I was fucked up, when I I don't know, was this thug dude and I didn't know who I was, and the world changed me into this, and it's not that it was my fault. It's that I look back and I'm like, of course I could see why I wasn't happy. I didn't put the work in on myself. And this is why I say the point of life isn't necessarily to be happy. I mean, find joy in life and the journey or whatever, like enjoy the journey, but it's more about the journey. So like you're doing things on the journey and you should be growing on the journey. And it like I always go back to that Tony Robbins thing every time I talk about happiness. But like I want to hit this. But every time, like, I totally forgot what the fuck I said. But I was thinking about happiness and how, like, every time I think about happiness, like, I think about that Tony Robbins thing because it's so real. That progress is the key to happiness. But personal progress, because happiness is a personal thing. Peace is a personal thing. Like, why I'm at peace might make you miserable. Like, that's the thing. That's why self-awareness is so important. The first thing, like, that's important. The first thing you need to do is look at yourself. Look in the mirror at who you are now, not who you want to be, not who you used to be. A lot of people talk about their past, like, I used to do this and I used to do that. What are you doing now, though? Because I can say, oh, I used to work out, but do you work out now? I can say, I used to be mentally healed, but are you mentally healed now? Because just because you healed your mental health a month ago doesn't mean that you're in that same mental space today. It's about checking in with ourselves to make sure that we are ourselves, to make sure that, like, we're growing, or to look at ourselves and to notice we're backtracking, that we're going backwards. And it's about not like being down about fucking up, or like, I don't know, it's just about looking at yourself and being like, okay, well, I'm here, but I want to get here. And then after I get here, I want to get here. Then after I get there, I want to get here. Like, small little progress. Doesn't have to be a giant progress. Just small little progress you'll start to feel good about yourself, about your journey, about your thing. And yeah, I don't know. I think the way we look at mental health needs to change, because one of the hardest things to tell people is that, like, if you ask somebody, what do you do in a week? How many hours a day do you spend working on yourself? How much, like, do you eat healthy? Do you work out? Like, all of this matters. And the biggest problem is men and women are different. So what will heal a man's mental health is different than what would heal a woman's mental health. what a man needs to feel like a man obviously is different than what a woman needs to feel like a woman. Like, this is why, like, I only know my experience, and because I'm a man, I think that getting in shape, like being a strong man, strong physically, strong mentally, you'll feel good as a man. If you had a bunch of muscles and you, like, whatever, as a woman, it might not do the same thing to your mind as it does for a man, where it just makes you see that, you're a man, it's just this thing. But you feel good about being a better version of you. Because it's not about, oh, I want the muscles because I want to, show big muscles. No, like, fuck the muscles. Get yourself in shape. Become the best version of you. Like, if your goal was to become better instead of becoming happy, you would start to get happy because you're starting to slowly get better. It's the slow progress. I don't know. That's my thought for the night.